Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good evening and welcome to Spring Global on Western Spring Television. Now the headlines. European Union leaders meet with Western Balkans leader in Albania. Chadian court sentences more than 260 persons arrested during anti-government protests in October to jail. Polls have opened for the United States Senate runoff election in Georgia. My name is Okoyemuni. European Union and Western Balkans leaders have met in the Albanian capital, Tirana, for a summit meant to reassure the region of a future in the wealthy bloc. The leaders of the 6 Balkan countries of Albania, Bosnia, Kosovo, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Serbia have long expressed disillusion that negotiations have not started or are stalled, years after being promised eventual EU membership. While reluctance over further enlarging the EU has caused rife among member states, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has pushed the Union to focus more energy on bringing the region closer to the bloc. French President Emmanuel Macron says it is absurd to stoke fear in France over the country's energy situation amidst the war in Ukraine. Macron stated this at the summit of European Union and Western Balkans leaders in Albania, adding that the role of public authorities is not to spread fear, not to govern by fear. He further reaffirmed that his country would get through this year's winter despite energy market tensions caused by Russia's war in Ukraine. Violent protests have broken out in Greece's second-largest city, Thessaloniki, over the shooting of a Roma boy by police officers after he allegedly fueled his vehicle at a petrol station and drove off without paying. According to police in the northern city, the 16-year-old is in critical condition and is being treated at a Thessaloniki hospital. The Greek police department said the officer who allegedly shot the kid in the head has been arrested and suspended from duty. About 1,500 people took part in a protest march organized by left-wing and anarchist groups in central Thessaloniki on Monday night. Some smashed shops and threw Molotov cocktails at police, who responded with tear gas and stun grenades and have detained 6 people. Ukraine has revealed that more of its embassies in Europe have received bloody packages. Ukraine's foreign minister revealed these, adding that the Ukrainian embassy in Romania and Denmark are the latest to receive the package. Over the past week, Ukrainian embassies in several European countries have been sent packages containing animal eyes coated in a pungent liquid. In Spain, the embassy received a letter bomb which caused injuries to a security officer's hand. So far, no one has claimed responsibility for sending the packages. Hungary has vetoed an €18 billion financial aid package to Ukraine. Vetoing the aid package means EU member states must work out a more complicated technical plan to ensure aid can keep flowing to Kiev in the new year. The chairman of the EU Council Economic and Financial Committee, Thomas Sareheno, said in the end an agreement that allow a flexible and quick way to deploy funds to Ukraine without fundamentally changing the way the EU manages its funds was agreed. The EU's 27 nations have until December 19 to make a decision, with the union's leaders set to meet next week for a 2-day summit. Hungary Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has previously angered the bloc's officials with his repeated criticism of EU sanctions targeting Russia for its war in Ukraine. Poland has received the first shipment of tanks and which was brought from South Korea as part of a drive to boost its defenses following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Polish President Andrzej Duda, speaking in front of a row of tanks in the northern port of Gdynia, said there is no need to explain the importance of the process and the rapid delivery of equipment. He further expressed the hope that relations between the two countries will be fruitful in the fields, industry, economy, and security. A court in Chad has handed out jail terms of between 2 and 3 years to more than 260 people arrested after anti-government protests in October. Public prosecutor Musa Wade Jibrin said a total of 401 people were put on mass trial in Korotoro prison, a high-security jail located in the desert 375 miles from the capital, N'Djamena, last week. Mr. Jibrin, speaking at a news conference, revealed that 262 people were given jail sentences, 80 were given suspended terms, and 59 were acquitted. The defendants were charged with taking part in an unauthorized gathering, destroying belongings, arson, and disturbing public order. According to an official told, approximately 50 people, including 10 members of security forces, died when police opened fire on demonstrators in N'Djamena and several other cities on October 20. Leaders of South Africa's governing party have backed President Cyril Ramaphosa as he faces corruption allegations and the possible vote in parliament on impeachment. He came to power pledging to tackle corruption but has now been caught up in his own crisis. An independent report said Mr. Ramaphosa may have broken the law by allegedly covering up a theft at his farm. He has denied any wrongdoing, and a spokesman said the report was flawed. The report, which was commissioned from a panel of legal experts by the Speaker, is due to be debated in Parliament today. But the African National Congress leadership has said it will tell its lawmakers who form the majority to vote against its adoption. This came after Mr. Ramaphosa challenged the report in the country's constitutional court.
The NEC will vote against the adoption of the report of the Section 89 panel, given the fact that the report has now been taken on review by the President. So we thought we are going to leave it there for now. Should Parliament proceed tomorrow, the ANC will not support that report.
China has bid its farewell to former leader Jiang Zemin in a state memorial service in Beijing. Jiang, who took power after the 1989 crackdown of the Tiananmen Square protest, will be remembered for leading the country through a decade of beginning economic growth and prosperity. He oversaw notable events like China's entry into the World Trade Organization and the handover of Hong Kong from the British to the Chinese. The Chinese Communist Party said he died last Wednesday from leukemia and multiple organ failures at 96 years old. President Xi Jinping delivered the eulogy in a near-hour-long ceremony in the Great Hall of the People, where he hailed Comrade Jiang's decisive leadership. A group of Australian lawmakers has arrived in Taiwan for a visit at a time of rising tensions between Taipei and Beijing. Taipei's foreign ministry confirmed the visit. There is a group of bipartisan members of the parliament from Australia currently visiting Taiwan. They are already here. Taipei's foreign ministry spokeswoman Joan told newsmen that Taipei appreciates the Australian parliament, adding that Sydney is very friendly to Taiwan.
The government of Taiwan welcomes friends and people from around the world who continue to visit and express their support for Taiwan. We welcome that. For many years, delegations of Australian Parliament, they have visited Taiwan. It's a long-standing practice. whether to promote our friendship, to deepen our partnership, our exchanges, and we notice that, and we appreciate that the Australian Parliament is very friendly to Taiwan.
You're watching Spring Global on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back after this break.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Bẹ́gùn ò bá jáde, mọ̀rìnwó la kọ́kọ́ rí, ọwọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ ní síwájú ìjó, ẹsẹ̀ kàtàkàtà ní síwájú rìn, bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ti ń gbúrò wa, a tún ti dé náà nù. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò Owambe Unlimited, pẹ̀lú èmi ọmọ yín, olólùfẹ́ yín, ọ̀rẹ́ yín, Suliat tẹ́túmọ̀ sí Morenikeji. Ẹ lè pè mí ní Susu, tó bá wẹ̀ lómi, a sọ pé ìyálòde àríyá, gbogbo orúkọ tẹ́ ẹ bá pè mí, kò sí èyí tí mi ò ní jẹ yín. Ẹ farabalẹ̀, kẹ́ ẹ máa gbádùn ètò Owambe Unlimited lórí ìkànnì Western Spring Television ní ìkànnì 190. Ibẹ̀ ni Owambe Unlimited ń bọ̀ wá, ẹ fàkùrẹ̀ tẹ̀dí, kẹ́ ẹ máa gbádùn ètò àríyá wa.
Wọ́n sọ fún yín pé ẹ máa wo Owambe Unlimited lórí Western Spring Television.
Welcome back on Spring Global on Western Spring Television. We now move to the rest of the stories. Polls have opened for the United States Senate runoff election in Georgia, a tight race that has drawn a record number of early voters. The Georgia electorate are deciding whether to send incumbent Democrat Raphael Warnock or his Republican opponent, Herschel Walker, to Washington to be sworn in with the new Congress in early January. Neither candidate managed to win a majority of the votes in last month's midterm race, which brought the contest to a runoff. November's midterm elections saw the Democrats narrowly losing control of the House of Representatives, but they retained a slender majority in the Senate with 50 seats plus the tie-breaking vote in Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris. North Korea's military has ordered frontline units to fire artillery into the sea for a second consecutive day in what it called a response to drills by the United States and South Korean forces in an inland border region. The order early this morning comes a day after North Korea fired about 130 artillery rounds into waters near its western and eastern sea boundaries with South Korea. The spokesman for the North Korean military said the latest planned artillery barrage was meant as a strong warning to Seoul and was in response to signs of South Korean artillery exercises in the border region. The official called on Seoul to immediately stop its provocative military actions. The South Korean and United States militaries are currently conducting live-fire exercises involving multiple rocket launching systems and howitzers in two separate testing grounds in the Chowon region, which began on Monday and will continue until Wednesday. Thailand Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha says he wants to rule until 2025, indicating for the first time that he plans to stand in the kingdom's upcoming general elections. Thailand is due to go to the polls early next year, and on Tuesday, the main opposition Pheu Thai Party launched some of its campaign themes. Prayut came to power as army chief in a 2014 coup before cementing his position in a controversial 2019 election, but his popularity has been in the doldrums. Pheu Thai is riding high in the polls, but the current Thai constitution, drafted under military rule, stacks the system in favor of army-linked parties. Thousands of people have braved freezing temperatures in Mongolia's capital to protest against alleged corruption in the country's coal industry and soaring inflation, with some later attempting to storm government house. Protesters, many of them young people, rallied in Ulaanbaatar's central Chukbata Square in 21 Celsius temperatures yesterday, demanding justice against corrupt officials and calling for the country's parliament to be dismissed. Protesters are frustrated with the country's ailing economy, with inflation soaring to 15.2% in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and closed borders affecting trade with neighboring China. It will be recalled that a whistleblower had claimed that a group of legislators with ties to the coal industry had stolen billions of dollars. Indonesia's parliament has approved a new criminal code that will make sex outside of marriage punishable by up to a 4-year in prison. It is part of a raft of changes that critics say erode people's rights. The new criminal code will not come into effect for another 3 years and also includes a ban on insulting the president and speaking out against state ideology. Protesters staged small rallies outside the parliament in Jakarta this week. The code, which will apply to both Indonesians and foreigners, includes several morality laws which make it illegal for unmarried couples to live together and have sex. At least 7 people have been killed in a roadside blast in northern Afghanistan, the latest attack in the violence-racked country. According to local officials, those killed in the 7 a.m. blast this morning in the city of Mazar-e Sharif included employees of a petroleum company on a bus. An official of the Balkh Police Department in Wazarif, Asif Wazari, said the bomb was placed in a cart by the roadside and was detonated as the bus arrived. It was not immediately clear who was behind the attack, which comes amid repeated pledges from the Taliban government to bring security to Afghanistan following decades of war. The northern Balkh province contains one of the country's main dry ports at the town of Aratan, near the border of Uzbekistan, containing rail and road links to Central Asia. Meta has threatened to remove news content from Facebook in the United States. It objects to a new law that would give news organizations greater power to negotiate fees for content shared on Facebook. A similar law passed in Australia led to news on Facebook being briefly suspended last year. Meta claims their platform provides increased traffic to struggling news outlets. It says publishers put their content on Facebook because it benefits their bottom line. And now to sports. Former Inter Milan and Barcelona striker Samuel Eto'o has been filmed in a physical altercation with a supporter in Qatar. The incident took place outside Stadium 974 following Brazil's 4-1 win over South Korea on Monday night. Eto'o, the Cameroon FA president, is being filmed having his photo taken with fans. The 41-year-old then appeared to take exceptions to a comment made by one of the individuals before chasing them. The footage appears to show Eto'o kneeling the man in the face and knocking him to the ground. Eto'o, who retired from football in 2019, scored 56 goals in 118 caps for Cameroon and represented his country at 4 World Cups between 1998 and 2014. Before we end Spring Global, here's a recap of our top stories. European Union and Western Balkans leaders have met in the Albanian capital, Tirana, for a summit meant to reassure the region of a future in the wealthy bloc. A court in Chad has handed out jail terms between 2 and 3 years to more than 260 people arrested after anti-government protests in October. Polls have opened for the United States Senate runoff election in Georgia, a tight race that has drawn a record number of early voters. Don't forget to follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. I am Okoyemuni. Thanks for watching.
How would you like a TV station that breaks the barriers of your TV screen? A TV station that brings infotainment to your forefront, breaking